My name is Jamal Thomas. This is my wife, Mrs. Thomas. Welcome to the Soapbox. How you doing today?
Marvelous.
It is a late soapbox, but we're here nonetheless. I didn't necessarily want to pass this up more than 2 Sundays, and it took me a while to accrue the stories that I wanted to accrue today. Not to mention, I was a busy beaver early this morning, so I was getting kind of a bit of rest in the evening.
I was geared up, ready to go at like noon, and he was like, "Yeah, I haven't been to bed yet. I need to chill for a little bit."
But
thumbs up if
you
you're
did
a church
for your particular Sunday.
I mean, you know, if you.
I hope you enjoyed it.
Church going.
I have a really good story. Starting off, Jeff Kuntz. Jeff Kuntz is my secret guy. I don't even know if that's his real name. He's been with me forever, and he keeps me abreast.
Kuntz sounds like a fake name. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's like an operative. But he keeps me abreast on all sorts of things that I don't see, especially from the standpoint of the UFO community and those type of things.
Oh, gosh.
Now, I saw this one on my own. But he did send it to me, even though I saw it on my own.
So our first story is a UFO story.
Yes, it is. RT retweets a story from Dr. Leir. Roger Leir. Now, I ran this story 3 years ago, which is why I knew the story, A, was true, and B, it shocked me to see it on RT because RT was essentially validating that it was true.
Were you on YouTube 3 years ago?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago, early on, when I was having my 420s.
Okay.
Roger Leir,
Fair
just
enough.
to give backstory. Roger Leir is a doctor that will pull out UFO implants. This gentleman. Now.
Oh, sorry.
This guy.
I know who that is.
Now, Leir didn't like touching the UFO stuff. Meaning, he doesn't want to deal with the craft. He doesn't want to deal with these people saying beings. None of that stuff. His point was, I'm going in and I'm retrieving something that this person said was injected in them by a being from elsewhere.
Right. He's not speculating on what that thing is. Just
or even if it's
there
real.
is a thing there.
Right.
I'm taking it out.
I'm taking it out.
I don't know how it got there.
That's where Leir goes.
Okay.
Leir doesn't deal with the UFO stuff. Now, I don't know if it's because Leir didn't want to be discredited by it. You know, meaning like, oh, this is a quack doctor. I don't know what it was, but he was very specific. I just want this part. Not the other part. So all the weirder still, and ironic, that Leir is in Turkey. And during the time he's in Turkey, there's a craft that they were saying that was routinely coming back. Leir is there when that craft comes back. There's a Turkish film crew that is there when that craft comes back. And Leir gets the opportunity, first time in his life, a doctor who eschewed the UFO stuff to actually see a UFO. Now, the video footage on this is amazing. And it's amazing in a way, and I'm going to show you the craft. And the footage they tried to debunk it at a Turkish, school, wasn't able to do it. And I'm going to show you the craft. But I'm also going to show you when they zero in on the craft. And by the way, RT showed this exact same thing that I showed years ago. Because once they had the video footage, it was just, zooming in. You could see portholes and those type of things when you're out there.
Wait, show us.
Okay, all right. So, this is Leir talking about it.
Are we going to see the footage?
And you're going to see the footage. Now, RT has the footage where he's the zooming video and everything else. But this is a still shot of what he saw.
Incident that doesn't involve aliens at all.
It was completely silent. It comes right over our heads.
He saw a classic flying saucer really standing in the clearing.
He turned over to my father and held his hand, and he looked in his eyes and he said, "We're not alone."
Craft.
Yes, there is, and it was seen, you have to remember, 3 years in a row.
Right.
And so on, and there was absolutely nothing. From about midnight till...
Alright, my system is doing kooky things and it was freezing a bit, so I'm going to restart this particular one. I need to grab one of these though, because I think I can even show you...
Can I give the intro while you open it?
Well, oh, it's ready.
Oh.
But yeah. Give the intro. Do your thing. You're right. I stopped you from doing your thing. They say when I talk about UFOs, I look like a young man. And so maybe my enthusiasm was just over swelling out of me. But do you think?
Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. If you did not know, today is the Contributor Appreciation Show. Once a week, Jamal takes one show out to give thanks. To say thank you. Well, Thanksgiving's coming up. To say thank you for everyone who contributes to the channel. It started off as a patron appreciation, and he would go onto the Patreon platform and ask what everybody wanted to talk about for this week. And so that's why it was originally patron appreciation, but now it is contributor appreciation. So if you are a patron on the Patreon platform, make sure that you log in once a week to see the posting, and you can submit your topic suggestions there, and he pulls the content for this show from your topic suggestions. If you are not aware of what Patreon is, if you enjoy the content of a content creator, you can say, I want him to continue to create this great content. I'm going to support him monetarily, and I'm going to commit to $2 a month, whatever it is. And you are then a patron. And so thank you to everyone that is no, I'm not done.
Patreon.
No, thank you to everyone who's a patron on the Patreon platform. Don't interrupt me. Thank you, especially erroneously. So if you are a patron on the Patreon platform, thank you. And also thank you for everyone who contributes through Streamlabs, PayPal, Super Chats, the random stuff we get in the mail, and everyone who is just here in support with their views, their shares, their likes, and their subscriptions.
Yes. All that good stuff.
We're here for you today.
Yes.
Or he's here for you today. I'm just crashing
You're
the
my
show.
sidekick. Yeah, you're my sidekick. You're my Robin. You've been wearing the
So
colors.
thank you. Also, if you are enjoying the content, give it a thumbs up. That helps YouTube's funky little algorithm let people know that we are live, because we only got 70 people here, and we want to get a lot of people here on the show. So give it a thumbs up. If you did not know, I am looking at my phone so that I can see you all's comments and catch them and read them aloud as they are relevant to the current topic. Go.
All right. So this is Roger Leir in his own voice. This is him explaining it, and then I want to show you the video itself.
Till 5 o'clock in the morning, filming out over the water. Now, we did a very careful analysis of the surroundings prior to the time when we actually did any filming. We checked with binoculars to see if there was any ships in that area that were passing by, any light interferences that would be coming from land, lighthouses and so on. And there was absolutely nothing. One of the years, I don't remember, I think it was 2009, Jaime Maussan from Mexico was there with his own film team. So the Turkish team was not the only one that did the filming. So I have to describe the night, because we're standing on an elevated deck which has nothing between us and the water. So there was a rather warm night, and there was a very, very bright full moon. So the camera we were using had a 300 millimeter lens and an electronic doubler. In other words, we were able to...
He has to say all this stuff because he's trying to explain, like, this. He's trying to set, this is how we got this. Like, this is the surroundings and stuff like this. This is the lens. Because if you ever try to analyze this, you can use the lens and everything else to try to come up with a reasonable analysis. He's not hiding the ball. He's saying this is what we got.
Okay.
All right, so let's keep going.
Push or close in on the object, 600 times magnification.
Wow.
So we started by looking at the moon.
Evening.
There must have been, I would say, at least a dozen.
Now, what Leir is saying is, look, when we magnify this image, the first image that you're shown, you can see portholes in the image itself. And within the portholes, this was the image that they were able to find. Now, RT runs this RT runs this. No bullshit. That's real. Now, whether or not Roger Leir would have had to be making this up, and I gotta be honest, I don't buy Roger Leir making this up. He just seems to be so against the UFO thing to be making this part up. It would be really bizarre for him to just say all of a sudden in his life, all right, now I'm just gonna bullshit this. And again, he wasn't there alone. The Turkish team was also videotaping and recording the footage. It's there for analysis. I would love to see the actual analysis of the image. But supposedly they tried to debunk this. I would even put the thing below so you can see him talk about this throughout the podcast so you can get a fuller explanation of what was taking place. Fascinating.
This is not good image quality.
Well, he has it magnified like 600 times, and they're in pitch black. It's like 3 a.m. You can do the image quality for yourself.
No, I can't.
Do you believe that Roger Leir is lying?
I didn't know that, Cat.
Do you believe that the other Turkish team that's with him was lying?
I didn't hear them.
Yeah. I guess my point is,
I feel you.
I don't think Leir is lying about it. Let me say it that way. I don't know why Leir would lie about it. Here's the catch. The Navy, at this point, has said this phenomena is real.
Right.
Whatever you want to think of it. The Navy has co-signed this and said this phenomena is real.
So
the public hasn't internalized that. At least I don't think the public has. Because the moment that the public internalizes that, all sorts of stuff are immediately on the table. How did they get here? Our physics says it's not possible for them to get here. And correct, who is they? How many of them are they? What are the technological differences between us and them? What is the perspective of them? Do they believe in God?
Is it us?
Are they capitalists? You're going to have all sorts of questions that people are going to ask across the table. What about abductions? Are they hostile?
Is it us?
I have no idea what you mean. Oh, right. Is it us? Well, the is it us thing goes into conspiracy theory. Like, the is it us thing goes into, there is a parallel set of technology that has been hidden from the American public and that is running ahead of our own.
I really don't see the benefit of it being us. Like, our government. Like,
if they're trying to spook the public, that's the only thing I can think of.
Why? Like, to what end, I guess?
Oh, financial. Like if you, for example,
to get more money.
Weapon contracts.
Oh.
And this kind of goes exactly to my point, right? Tom DeLonge was instrumental in getting those videotapes released. Those videotapes that proved, once and for all, that the U.S. military was engaging UFOs. Now, the military commander also co-signed that, saying, yes, for a time we were encountering UFOs, unidentified flying phenomena, meaning there's something in our airspace. We don't necessarily know what it is. We don't know who it is. We have been doing investigations in clandestine ways to figure out how their ships function and their functions. But for the most part, we don't know. That's the argument. That's the mainstream line of what is taking place. But the phenomenon itself has been legitimized. Tom DeLonge was instrumental in getting this done. Singer for Blink-182. I know it sounds weird, but Tom DeLonge, it is random as hell. He has all strewn out the WikiLeaks documents. WikiLeaks, him, the spooks that Tom DeLonge was talking to, Podesta, all of these guys were talking about UFOs. Glenn, meaning the astronauts themselves, all of these guys were talking about UFOs all strewn throughout the WikiLeaks documents. It is fascinating. And it also legitimized him.
This cat.
Because up to that point, people were like, yeah, Tom DeLonge is a UFO guy. Get the fuck out of here. You're just a singer. But the moment that you can see him in the documents, his spooks were real spooks. Meaning they did have clout. And all of a sudden you had pilots coming out saying, yes, I was in that ship flying around. So it wasn't just the videos. It was also having the military itself co-sign what is taking place. Like, this has never taken place before in this country. I hope you understand what I mean. The public has not internalized that. I don't believe the public has internalized that yet. Tom DeLonge, my biggest issue with Tom DeLonge was he believes in the bad alien theory. He believes that there's something out there to get us.
Taking babies. And
yeah, right. They're eating babies, or they're injecting women in order to get the babies out. He believes in that stuff. And the only thing Tom DeLonge has to go by, though, is what he has read or what he's been told by other spooks. He's had no experiences himself. I find that to be somewhat dangerous, only because where this can go. if this is right, meaning if there is something, whatever that something is, we have no idea. Like, we're so far away from any information resolving that. We don't even know if the mainstream story that they put out that legitimizes the issue is true in and of itself. Like, we don't know anything of this. And so it becomes a little bit dangerous in regards to our politics being driven by something that we don't have any information on. But congressmen are asking. They're saying, look, what are the physics necessary for the craft to do the things that you're saying that these craft were doing? The New York Times, Washington Post, Politico, at this point, this has been substantiated by the military itself. Listen to Tom DeLonge. This is original footage. This was edited. And you're going to see why it was edited. Listen to what Tom DeLonge is saying.
One, there are certain things that should never have been secret. Two, there are secrets that were justifiable at the time but should now be disclosed. And three, there are things that are so terrifying and unimaginable that certain interests believe that they should never, ever be made.
Which part was edited? Which part do you think I edited? That last part.
Terrible and
that terrifying. No, he says there are things that are so terrifying
and unimaginable
that we don't believe this should ever come about. That's the perspective that he's taken on this. So even if he never says anything about it, and I've heard him give interviews, he has stopped giving that type of interview. He stopped saying stuff like that. That stuff has been...
But this is the stuff that he was saying before the Navy was like, yes. Yeah, something's going on.
Yes.
But now he's trying to go more mainstream.
Well, no, he gives bad interviews. And because he gives bad interviews, you know, they's like, dude, we need you to stop trying to scare the shit out of people. Even though my argument was their goal to some degree is to scare the shit out of people. My argument was he has so many spooks behind him. And because of his perspective of this, and his organization is supposedly like a space agency. Like to put it in perspective, Tom DeLonge has said, TTSA, in his own words, TTSA is not a UFO research group. We are an advanced aerospace science and entertainment consortium run by former progressive director Lockheed Martin's Skunk Works, multiple high-ranking defense and intelligence officials and physicists. He is right, by the way. He's right.
Aerospace Science and Entertainment Consortium?
Yes. Well, and let me explain.
Is T-Boz in here? I mean,
well,
entertainment.
Let me explain why. He has all sorts of physicists that were part of government sciences, going in everything from invisibility, warp drive, cloaking technology, all of this weird Star Trek-esque technologies that these guys were studying. He's gotten those physicists to step down with him, not to mention Luis Elizondo to come with him and spooks to come with him. Like, when he has muscle with this. But here's the catch. How are you, an aerospace firm, just getting $1 million here and there? You're not. How do you get money in order to build what you're trying to build, meaning the ship that he wants to build? The only way you're going to get that money is by military contracts. The only way you're going to get those military contracts is if there is a threat somewhere that the military believes that it needs to deal with. Mm. And what do you know? What do you know? What do you know? What do you know? Look at this. TTSA has announced a cooperative research and development agreement with the U.S. Army to advance our material and technology innovations in order to develop enhanced capabilities for Army ground vehicles. It's starting. I was right. My point was that their organization had to, almost by definition of what they wanted to be, get money from the military, because there was no way the people were going to donate enough money for them to build a rocket ship. The entertainment consortium part has to do with him believing that he needs to get information out to the public, ferret it from the government. Meaning the government has stuff that it needs to explain to the public. And through entertainment, he can explain it in a way without directly telling it, meaning show it in a third-person way to get the public acclimated to the information. With also the other part of being high technology. Because keep in mind, from his standpoint, he's a rock star. And his argument is, you need to get information out to the public. Great. I can facilitate that because I have all sorts of contracts in the industry. Great. But keep in mind, what's coming out is information from the government on this, which is essentially what they want you to know, not necessarily the truth. There's a difference in those things. And his point is, I can get this information out, I can disseminate it in a way. The catch is, he has the muscle. And do you believe that the U.S. Army will be pairing with him if this was a bullshit organization? It wouldn't.
I feel you.
And he's gone so far as to say they have materials that they're releasing. They've been releasing documents. They've released the videos. Keep in mind, this was an organization that released those videos that the U.S. military came on and says, the Pentagon says, yes, these are our videos.
Right.
So it's not a BS organization. And to ensure and to nail down that it's not, do you honestly believe that the United States Army would be pairing with a UFO group if they weren't what they said they were? Also, what materials do they have that the U.S. Army believes can be augmented or help their vehicles? Like, we're talking about wild stuff now. Right here. This is their press announcement. To the Stars Academy of Arts and Sciences announced today a cooperative research and development agreement with the U.S. Army and Combat Capabilities Development Command to advance TTSA's material and technology innovations in order to develop enhanced capabilities for Army ground vehicles. TTSA's technology solutions would leverage developments in material sciences, space-time metric engineering, quantum physics, beam energy propulsion, and active camouflage have the potential to enhance survivability and effectiveness of multiple Army systems. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
Space-time metric engineering?
Space-time metric
Beamed
engineering.
energy propulsion?
And again, do you believe that they aren't? It was the Navy that came out that said, yes, these videos are legit.
Right.
Meaning the Pentagon said, yes, they're legit. It was the Navy that came out and says, yes, we've been experiencing UFOs. These things are real. It was the New York Times and all these other guys who essentially made the point that people have been trying to sweep this under the rug. You need to deal with this. This is a potential threat. Now you have congressmen asking for hearings on this stuff. Grant Cameron says there's supposedly hearings are in the works. And you have what I absolutely thought was going to happen was the military getting involved in this process. This is terrifying. I hope you realize what I mean when I said this is terrifying. It is positive that this stuff gets brought out into the light of day. Yes. It is a second thing, though. Right. I don't want people scaring the shit out the public. Right off the bat, the public has a lot of growing up to do in a very short period of time with this issue. Like, you go from, yeah, this doesn't exist to, oh my God, this doesn't exist. And within a few weeks, all of these Navy groups saying yes. Now you have the Navy, the military going with an organization that is supposed to be dealing with UFOs.
And they're talking about defensive capabilities.
Space-time metric engineering.
Combat.
Yeah.
Capabilities.
Because again, supposedly the materials and the scientists that these guys have and these guys are working on, supposedly they just need cash. Luis Elizondo has said that his organization had came up with equations to explain how the ships that are visiting us work. That's what they're talking about. That's what they're talking about. Would the Army dump money into a bullshit project?
I think it was Gardenome that said that them working with the military decreases his credibility.
Yes. Yes. I agree. But not credibility from the standpoint, though, of that there may be something there. I mean, this is kind of my problem with all of this. I don't doubt that there's something out there. Don't doubt it at all. I take it as an act of faith of sorts. And I do think there's enough evidence to say, yes, there's clearly something. I mean, we have a certain degree of propaganda that we're not supposed to look up, but we're ball hurling through space. That's all we are. That's a real thing. And in the same way, we go and visit our celestial neighbors and all this other stuff. Why do we believe that with our limited sciences of like 100 years, that we got it all? It's down pat. You know, scientists, they say there was a Big Bang, and it's like, all right, and they take it as an act of faith. And you're like, well, what happened before the Big Bang? Nothing. How do you know? Well, I mean, it's like a miracle that they just kind of accept. I mean, look, I don't know as a flat fact. I've never seen a UFO. Well, we have seen UFOs, but I don't know what those were. But I think there's enough evidence to say yes.
Something.
Yes, right. And I don't think the pilots are lying. Like, I don't think they're out there flagrantly lying, nor do I think that all of these pilots in other countries are out there flagrantly lying. I mean, there's not just U.S. pilots have said this stuff, British pilots. So there's that. The catch becomes, within that context, what's true? God knows. Who knows? And ultimately, he's talking about getting information just from military sources. Like, my fear was that these guys were going to take this information and say, all right, now we need to build new combat systems to deal with some kind of threat that's out there. That was my biggest fear. Like, because think about what we're saying here. Think of the level of damage that our technology currently can do. Nuclear bombs, for example. What could something like this do? They're talking about space-time metric engineering, quantum physics, beam energy propulsion, active camouflage. We have lasers right now. Now, the catch becomes, do we have weather engineering technology? What does it mean for space-time metric technology? Like, we're talking about technology.
I'm interested in that beamed energy propulsion.
Well, even warp drive, all of this stuff. Like, this is an order of a magnitude of technology and destructive capabilities that is profound, or has the potential to be profound. I had this idea in my head of this thing flying just over space. The Air Force has always wanted superiority in space. That was always their one. This Star Wars system by Ronald Reagan was one of those efforts, essentially, to have this kind of thing where you can just knock stuff down or attack areas on land. Imagine a laser in space that just is able to hit any target on the ground. Or not just any target on the ground. Think of a ballistic rod that can be dropped in order to, again, hit any target on the ground at the push of a button. It's very specific, very precise hitting of a particular target, meaning the president has an easier time killing in other people. And imagine that technology being in the hands of somebody like Trump. I guess, or even Obama for that matter. I mean, think of what he's been trying to do in Syria. Yeah.